Alright, I'm back. This is unfortunately the penultimate episode of Season 2. Sadly, I only got one more after this, and then we gotta wait probably a year for Season 3, which kinda sucks. Anyway, I thought this episode was fantastic. I think it was one of the best written episodes of the show so far. It was mostly character driven, but there's quite a bit of cool action scenes. I'm gonna do this informally again, like the last couple, where I just am watching clips from the episode and then talking over them. So, no notes this time again. So we start off on this planet that looks kind of like, it gives me Raxus Prime vibes from The Force Unleashed. It's like a junk planet. Or even Braca from Jedi Fallen Order. You can see just mountains and piles of broken down ships, mostly TIE fighters. And there's another one of those cranes that I think a similar one was in the episode The Heiress. Oh, is it an IG droid again? Oh, I think that's Bill Burr. Yep, so it looks like he does slave labor on this planet. Oh, so it's one of those New Republic droids that we saw in the episode that he was in last. They look a little like HK droids, but I don't think they are. It's got the New Republic logo on his chest. This is kind of cool seeing like New Republic people showing their authority over the Imperial Remnant and the prisoners. Man, that would suck to be like, to basically have a slave owner that's a droid. That would make it feel even worse. Oh, that looks like the top of an ATST. There it is. There she is, Slave 1. You know, I almost forgot about last week how, which I don't know how I can. For days after that episode, I was still just in shock and disbelief that we saw Slave 1 again. And Boba Fett, of course. Oh, wow, Boba's got a new paint job. Oh, dude, and there's his classic, what is that? What is that called? EE-33 blaster rifle? I don't know exactly what the numbers are, but that's his classic blaster. You know, it's cool that he's got a new paint job, but I almost preferred the weathered look from the OT. But last episode, I think it was too weathered because it was from, he was in the Sarlacc for so long that it kind of screwed up his paint. So I think there's a happy medium between what we saw last week and this, which looks brand new. I think it's going to look better over time when this paint job gets more worn down. Also, why did he wait this long to paint it? Oh, never mind. It's been missing. Doi. Oh, he looks so cool. Oh, and we get some shots of what it looks like inside Slave 1. That's something we've only seen glimpses of in episode 2. We haven't really got to see what it looks like in there. I wonder how long, like what the time frame it's been since he last saw him, since that episode. We don't really have an idea of how long it's been. Yeah, so that's what I expected this episode was going to be. They were going to use his knowledge of Imperial codes and stuff like that to help them get to Gideon. Yeah, that's cool. There's a crashed U-Wing in the background. Chapter 15, The Believer. Interesting. It's great to see Slave 1 in action. Oh, cool. We've never seen this. People have always wondered how does it look, or what does it look like inside the Slave 1 when it takes off, because it's like we assumed it's one big gyro because the whole thing rotates. I just still can't believe that I'm seeing my all-time favorite ship design this much in this show. It's amazing. Like, I think most people's favorite ship design is the Falcon, but for me it's always been Slave 1. Morak, is that a planet we've heard of before? A secret Imperial mining hub. He just calls him Fett. That's so cool. Yeah, his armor looks too clean. It almost looks close to cosplay-ish, like they just made it. So I think it's going to look better when it's more aged. That's so cool just seeing Tamora walking around without the helmet, but he's fully armored. Rhydonium? Wasn't Rhydonium in, like, was it Clone Wars or Rebels or maybe both? There's this episode of Clone Wars where I think they had Rhydonium and it, like, made this gigantic explosion. Like, it was, like, the biggest explosion ever done in an animated show. It's, like, super highly volatile. Oh, look at these amazing beauty shots of the Slave 1. Oh, some kind of, like, temperate forest or maybe jungle planet. That looks kind of like the clone turbo tanks from episode 3 and the one in Rogue One. This is so cool just seeing Boba. He's just hanging around with this crew. He actually gets to do something for once instead of just stand there and look cool. Hopefully this is the beginning of some kind of arc for his character, which would pick up on the arc from Clone Wars, which was pretty good. Remnant bases. So they are saying remnant, so I assume that means Imperial Remnant, and which is what they called it in all the EU, or IR for short. And oh, XISB, that's Imperial Security Bureau. The Agent Callus from Star Wars Rebels was an ISB agent. And I think you could play as ISB agents in Star Wars Battlefront 2. The new one. The worst one. Also looks a little bit like Scarif, kind of, this planet. Oh, his face thing is going to be an issue here. Why not just send Boba? He can take his helmet off. Or actually, you know what? Maybe he's too notorious in the galaxy. Oh, look at these things. These are cool. It looks like a mix between that train from Solo and the clone turbo tanks. Also, it's kind of like the body of the truck or whatever looks kind of like the ship, the Covenant in Alien Covenant a little bit, but with wheels slapped on it. Oh, that's cool. It's nice to see these guys again. These were the Imperial tank drivers from Rogue One. That's one thing that I really appreciated about Rogue One is it expanded the design, the array of designs and new vehicles and stuff that for the Empire. Because like the First Order seems like they didn't make anything new in those movies. It's just like a slightly different looking TIE fighter, a slightly different looking AT-ST, stuff like that, and a bigger AT-AT, a bigger Death Star. But I liked all the new designs they had for the Empire and Rogue One, and they just keep using those. Like the tank that he uses, the tank driver, and like K2SO, the U-Wing, stuff like that. Stuff we hadn't seen in the other movies before, like Imperial bases. Stuff that's definitely been in the EU before and Legends. They didn't detect them landing on their roof? They don't have like sensors? Or didn't even hear it? His gloves are still wet. Yeah, they're probably sweating all the time. It seems like it's a humid jungle planet. Oh, that's crazy. Mando's in different armor. That's weird. That's definitely against his creed. A Mandalore name drop? Is that the first time they mentioned the planet? Yeah, the interior of this looks like it looks kind of like the inside of the TIE Reaper from Star Wars Squadrons. Again, the usual unified design of the Empire. This is pretty cool. We get to see like what the Empire does, how when they go from planet to planet and just strip a planet of its resources. This is what their operations look like to mine it, to basically do strip mining. I really like this scene with the one-to-one. Like this is some of the best stuff in the episode. Just Bill Burr's character talking to him. I'm glad they brought back his characters. Bill Burr's a good actor, and I know famously he doesn't even like Star Wars at all, but he's a pretty cool character in the show. Yeah, they're clearly setting up some kind of conflict with his helmet. He kind of uses all this driving time to like question Mando's creed and like ask him if what he's doing really makes sense. This is cool. This is like basically a heist episode, it seems. Yeah, he really wants him to take his helmet off. He just keeps dropping hints like, it feels better when it's not on. This is a very different environment of what we've seen. The closest thing is probably Kashyyyk, but there's no giant trees. Yeah, it's weird. There's just like scrap everywhere. Oh, okay. Those are blown up trucks. The one that they're in. It's like the blown up versions of them. So it's like speed. They can't go too fast, or they got to go a certain speed, or they'll blow up. So in this scene, they're kind of showing the toll that it takes on the locals when the Empire mines their planet. And you can see all the victims of what they do. Yeah, and then he points out that it doesn't matter. New Republic, Empire, these people see them both as villains. It's basically like that scene in Last Jedi, but done way better. Like, it was kind of sloppily done in that movie where JD or whatever, Benicio del Toro's character, shows them that everyone buys ships from, like, each other. Like, the Empire buys ships from the Resistance and vice versa. He should push back a little bit on that. I wouldn't say the Mandalorians are exactly like the Empire. The Empire is like a totalitarian dictatorship. I don't think the Mandalorians are. Wait, what? Neither of them exist. When did Mandalore get destroyed? Like, I know that he says that Alderaan obviously blew up, but like he says that Mandalore is gone. But I mean, last we saw of it was in Clone Wars: The Final Season, and it doesn't get blown up or anything. Is there something we haven't seen yet regarding Mandalore? Because I feel like that's where the show is ultimately heading to, like them retaking Mandalore and making a new ruler. Yeah, I really like this scene where he's really questioning his morals and his rules of the Mandalorian creed and how he can change his rules when he gets desperate, and pointing out kind of how dumb it is that he has to hide his face and how it's going to get in the way. It's just like the Joker's speech from The Dark Knight. He's like, when the chips are down, these civilized people will eat each other. It's a similar thing where he's like, yeah, everyone's got their lines that they don't cross until things get messy. Yeah, I like the fleshing out of his character, and I hope he sticks around and maybe stays with their crew. Whoa! Is that a Rhydonium explosion? Probably. Not many things make an explosion that big. What on earth is going on? Those look like that weird skiff that like Rey and all them were driving in Episode 9. Pirates. Oh, that's really risky. Yeah, he points that out. You're going to shoot that close to Rhydonium? This went from Speed to Mad Max, Fury Road. Wow, that was close. It also kind of reminds me of, there's a chase scene in the show Firefly where they're like outrunning these pirates on skiffs like this. What is this race? Have we seen this race before? I don't recognize it. Also, he runs out of ammo. Ammo is something I've never completely understood in Star Wars, because like, In some of the older games, like in the old Battlefronts, they portray it being using like magazines, like loading it like a normal gun. But then, like in new Battlefront games, they say that it's a charge, and you don't have to put in a new clip or anything. It's just like a battery charge. So I'm not sure if all blasters are charged by battery or what. But he just like tries shooting, and I don't even know if that's ever been shown before in Star Wars. Someone running out of ammo. See, they even got like these staffs. Clearly, somebody watched Mad Max Fury Road and took inspiration. Oof, got run over. Can't. It almost looks a little bit like the species of that blue guy that's like the advisor to Palpatine. I forget his name. Yeah, this action scene goes on for quite a while. Why do these guys like this is their strategy? Just like go on them, plant a thermal detonator, and jump off. Like it seems risky to them. Okay, I get it's for dramatic effect, but that thermal detonator has like the longest fuse ever. I assume they're adjustable, but that's a really long fuse. Like that, yeah, that seems extremely dangerous. All of them holding thermal detonators, like they don't know if one of these guys shoots one of them while they're in their hand and just kills all of them. You know, when you're watching a scene like this, you forget that this whole show is filmed in that thing called the volume. It's kind of mind blowing to think like with the scale of the show and the production values, and it's like impossible to tell what's a set and what's like a screen background from the what they use in the volume. It's really impressive every week. These Deus Ex Machina TIE fighters come in at last second to save them. Kind of surprised it took them this long. You'd think that as soon as Imperials realized one of their trucks was kind of acting erratic and there was these things happening that they would send them, but maybe because neither one inside the cockpit was saying anything. Oh, dudes, what are those called? Like, aren't they called like shore troopers or something? More designs from Rogue One that I'm glad to see continue. I remember I think I saw somebody cosplaying as one of those at Star Wars Celebration. They're just all saluting him. You know what? Now that I think about it, I don't recall ever seeing that. Like, since when do stormtroopers salute? Is that a thing? I know they do that weird, like almost like Nazi salute in like the First Order does that, where they put two fists forward in front of them in that after Hux's speech. This reminds me of the scenes in Solo. Everything looks so grimy. I do like the grime and grit. I mean, that's classic Star Wars look. Why is there some guys that just look like regular miners? They got like old like earth mining hats. It's kind of a weird place for an important terminal like that. It looks like in a break room. I wonder if it's just like a desktop computer, the equivalent of a PC in Star Wars. Oh, I know that actor. I recognize him. Oh, you know what? That's the guy. That's like the guy that you see in like every movie. Like you see him all the time, but you're not quite sure his name. Richard Brake. That's his name. He's been in so much. He was in Kingsman, and then one of his huge roles was, I mean, not huge, but something everyone would recognize him from is he played Joe Chill in Batman Begins, the guy that shot Bruce's parents. Valen Hess. Interesting. Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff. He's like one of those chameleon actors that can just disappear into any role. They're really nailing the casting for the Imperials, like Titus Welliver in that one episode, and this guy. Why doesn't he just like put his head down? Like that guy's not gonna recognize him if he just like kind of subtly hides his face, or like why would you risk this because the guy knows you? Oh, dude, is he gonna have to take his helmet off? Like I don't think his helmet's been off since like end of last season, and then he kind of takes it half off when he's eating food. See, I'd be immediately suspicious. I'd go over to him immediately and be like, what is your problem? Why are you trying to do this with a helmet on? Unless you're an idiot, it shouldn't work. Wow. Okay, so he's just taking his helmet off. Maybe this is finally like between meeting Boba and seeing how he does, or seeing how he takes his helmet off, and Bo-Katan, he's finally seeing outside of his creed, and maybe he's finally going to learn to accept to take it off whenever. Like he's finally going to change his ways over the course of this show. It's still funny how they're still using like the 70s era tech for this stuff. Yeah, I would have been asking him questions much sooner than this. Is this the first time he's had dialogue without his helmet? Because I don't think he talked when his helmet came off to when he was saved in season 1. Why couldn't he have just made up a TK number? I'm sure he knows what a TK number is. He's familiar with stormtroopers. He could have just said anything instead of having Mayfeld come in and make up the number for him. Tanab, that's an interesting name drop of a planet, which it's only been mentioned by Lando and Empire. He's just screaming at him, thinks he's an idiot. You would think that they would come up with a different strategy for transporting the Rhydonium if they're the only two that survived. Like if this keeps happening and they keep getting blown up by pirates, change your tactics. Oh, he must recognize him. I don't know why else he would ask him to have a drink with him. Oh, Death Star gunners? That's cool. Do they wear that armor when they're in any kind of like anti-aircraft laser? Because we've really only seen those inside the Death Star. He's still got his helmet off. This is definitely the longest he's gone without it. Actually, Pedro Pascal earning his money now because apparently he's not in the costume for a lot of the show. It's like a stunt guy, and he gets paid to be like the voiceover for him. Oh, Operation Cinder. That's an interesting reference. Yeah, that was the operation from the new Battlefront 2 campaign, which I didn't think was very good, but that was a big element in that story. I think it was like a contingency plan for if Palpatine died. Interesting that they're linking that game with this. Which tells me now more than ever they definitely are making sure all the lore and the canon lines up. Like they need to have Dave Filoni basically on every project. Burnin' Khan? Was that in Battlefront 2? I don't remember. I played it once, like I said. Didn't think it was very good. I think I do remember that. Something like a city like getting destroyed in like a second in that game. This is the most dialogue this guy usually gets. He usually has small parts like as Joe Chill in Batman Begins did he have any lines except like give me your money and that was it? And then he got shot. And then in Kingsman maybe he had like one or two lines. Actually, was he in Kingsman 2 am I thinking of? I think he was in 2, which Pedro Pascal was also in. I really like this like tense dialogue scene. It's not something you see a lot in the show of just dialogue. What are mud scuffers? I'm not sure what this means. He says they're eating themselves alive, like, and that the New Republic is in complete disarray. Like, why? We need to see that. Like, I don't. Why are they in disarray? After Episode 6, shouldn't they be all unified? And the Imperial Remnant, like, yeah, they're growing stronger. He says they're growing stronger by the day, but it seems like it should be the opposite, right? Like the IR should be just chaos because they have no leader now after Palpatine's dead. So it's just going to be like small groups of them. I don't know, they need to elaborate on that. I'm not sure why they're saying that they're unorganized in the New Republic. So they want Rhydonium just to blow stuff up, basically, just to cause chaos. Well, who's they? He says that by blowing stuff up and like causing chaos, that because people want order, they'll turn to them. Like, who? The New Republic's not going to turn to them. And the average citizen, it's not like they're going to be running into the arms of the Empire and being like, save us. I'm pretty sure they don't like them. So who exactly would go back to them and want them to be back in power? It's kind of weird. Whoa, that was stupid. Well, yeah, it was an emotional impulse, but you're going to get him killed. You're going to get both of you killed. He's probably relieved to have that back on. This guy's great. He's a really good marksman, even without that weird, like, robot arm on his shoulder. That seems really dangerous. They didn't even know what was out there. It could have just been no ledge at all to go on. I don't even think they looked. They just kicked it out. Oh, that's cool. Giving him, like, sniper cover. Oh, weird. Seeing Boba Fett in that angle. Oh, sweet. Are we going to see, like, Slave One do, like, a strafing run or something? I just noticed that Fennec Shand has almost like a modern dual scope. It's got, like, a high power scope, and then above that on top is a lower power scope. This is cool, seeing more action from the shore troopers. We didn't really get to see much of it in Rogue One. Man, this is so cool. I don't know how much they're going to keep the Slave One around. Like, Mando's got to get his own ship back. And I hope to God they don't kill off Boba Fett this soon. Like, don't kill him off next episode and then have Din Djarin inherit his ship. Like, we just got Boba back. Keep him around for at least another season and then kill him. I don't know. And then maybe they could do like a prequel series or something with Daniel Logan. But don't kill off old Boba so soon. He's got to get, like, build a new Razor Crest or something. Cycler rifle. That's in Battlefront 2 as well. Look at that old-timey scope. That's pretty weird. Having just like almost like a 20th century Earth scope on a Star Wars gun. What a shot. That's weird. Seeing the Slave One hover like that. I actually don't know if we've seen it. I didn't know it can kind of just hover around like that for a while horizontally. I thought it has to, as soon as it goes into like the flipping motion, it has to start moving that way. Oh, dude, are we going to see a Slave One versus TIE Fighter dogfight? Oh, no way. No way. Are they doing it? Are they doing the thing? And what are those called? Seismic charges. That's mine, and I know a lot of other fans, their all-time favorite sound effect from episode 2. Please tell me it's going to do it. Yes. Wow. Yeah, that's such an amazing sound. Oh, dude, that's so cool. Yeah, that and like Sebulba's his pod racer are like two of my favorite sound effects in all of Star Wars. Ben Burt at his finest. That's like my favorite thing to do in Battlefront 2, in the new one. Just use seismic charges. She's gonna let him go, isn't she? Yeah, well, getting some stuff off your chest could have gotten everyone killed, dude. Oh, that's cool. They're just gonna pretend that he died. They didn't see him. I just noticed Mayfeld's gloves. They look like modern military gloves. I mean, where's he gonna go? He doesn't have a ship. Where does he think he's going? They're the ones with the slave one. He can't just walk away on this planet. I didn't even realize that until just now. It seems kind of a weird thing to do for him. Is he going to attempt to steal like a TIE fighter or something? He's just going to hide out on this planet or what? Oh, we're back with Gideon. That right there, that looks like another model shot. Oh, Din Djarin is throwing down the gauntlet, isn't he? Directed by Rick Famuyiwa. Yeah, he directed one of the best episodes last season. I think he did the last one with Mayfeld last season. The one called The Prisoner, I believe. Oh man, that's it. We only got one more episode. That sucks. I hope because this episode was only about like 35 minutes plus like 5 minutes of credits or something. So I'm really hoping the finale is at least like 57 minutes or something like that, or just over an hour, because with the runtime they include the credits on there. I'm really stoked to find out what happens next week. I have the feeling it's going to end on a dark note. Like I have the feeling they're going to fail in getting Grogu back, and it's going to be some kind of big cliffhanger for season 3, and it's going to drive us all crazy for next year. Like we got this season just under a year after the first season. Like it wasn't even quite a year yet. So it'd be nice if we got it in like August or September next year and didn't have to wait until October for it to start. But I have the feeling that's what's going to happen, and we still have yet to find out which Jedi he saw. And once again, I'm holding out hope that next week is going to end with Luke freaking Skywalker showing up and saying that he felt Grogu's presence, played by Sebastian Stan. Of course, he's already in the Disney family playing Winter Soldier in his upcoming series, all that. So we'll see. Only one more. I'll be here next week. I've been doing these right after I watch the episodes too, instead of waiting a couple days. So it'll probably be Friday that I get out. Next week I'll probably have that one out right away too. And then after that, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Probably make other videos about other topics, maybe actually scripted videos instead of doing these off-the-cuff reviews and breakdowns. But I'll figure it out after next week. So thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy my coverage of Mandalorian or all the other stuff I do, consider liking, subscribing, sharing, all that crap. And I'll see you guys next week. Thank you for watching.